So before we start, I would like to take a moment and share with you, our dear listeners, that we've been nominated for the Gamehers Awards for Best TTRPG of 2022. This is so freaking cool and huge. And voting, it begins today or tomorrow, depends on when you're listening, September 9th. So just jump over to thegamehers.com. Actually, do it right now before you listen to the rest of this episode and just vote. It'll either be under Eleanor Di Lorenzo or Ellie Di Lorenzo or The Lost Mountain Saga or both. I am not 100% sure because I've never been nominated for anything in my entire life. But you should find us under the TTRPG campaign nominations. And listen, I'm not asking for much except world domination, but it would be so very special if you would vote for us. It would truly be the cinnamon bun on the fika table if we won. With that said, thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for nominating us. And please vote and make sure that the Sweden, as told through the lens of 3 horny women, makes a mark on the world stage. Now, over to Anne.
Thanks, Eleanor. Hey, guy. Hey, award-winning friendos.
Hello.
Well, I don't know if we're award-winning.
Award nominated.
We're not. It feels
I think we're already winners. I'm gonna. If anyone asks, I'm gonna write it on my resume. It's not like I don't think anyone ever checks.
Yeah, they're not gonna check. They're gonna believe you if you say it on a resume.
Yeah. Exactly.
Guys, how do you, when you are running games, keep track of important information like what time people arrive in towns? Or like, I just find that if it's just not important, that I just don't
register.
pay attention or register it. How do you handle that?
That is the worst. I mean, I'm the same way as a GM. Like, I'm not good at that. And it's so funny because as a player, it's like important, but it's the worst when a player goes, and what time is it?
Oh,
and I'm like, come on, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm notoriously bad at note taking, and I regret it every time. Like, why don't I just write down a little note? Like, it's noon, you know.
It's so noon. Funny because I think about that stuff when I'm like creating it, but then when it's being a storyteller or dungeon master or GM, whatever you want to call us. Is like trying to hold a handful of sand as you walk across a hot parking lot. It's just, you're not going to have as much sand at the end as you did to start out with.
And your feet are going to hurt because, you're barefoot in the hot parking lot.
Yeah, and then somebody goes, hey, what's up? And you wave to them and drop all the sand. And, so that's my cool metaphor.
I love why a parking lot? Why not a beach?
Well, I was imagining having come from the beach and you're trying to like carry the sand from the beach to your car. Because like at the beach, you had a great time. The concept was there. It was a perfect day. The sun was out.
That's the metaphor for you creating the game. You're at the beach collecting sand.
You're at the beach. Yeah. You're thinking about it. And then you're like, I am just going to bring a handful of this experience home with me and share it with others.
And then
that sand doesn't get to the car, and if you do get it to the car, it's all over the back seat.
Oh yeah, I would be so upset with you if you brought sand into my car. And
I'm bringing sand into your podcast car, Ellie.
Listen, that has been extremely enjoyable though, and I must say, being the editor for these episodes, I don't need to take notes. I can just listen back and be like, oh, that's what happened. But like when I play in other games, I am really bad, but I zone out very often if it's any sort of exposition that's longer than maybe 30 seconds. Because it's like, especially names. Like people's names, I'm like, okay, well, all right, I'm not even going to bother. And then
I'm never going to talk to them again. So.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, so my partner describes it as like whenever you're entering a new kind of story, there are a lot of nouns that have to happen before you enter the world. Like you have to figure out all the like cool world building stuff about where you are, and they just start saying nouns like you're supposed to know what that means, and it's noun time.
Wait, noun as in the
like the part of speech, like a noun, okay, person, place, cool. or thing.
Yeah, yep. I know grammar.
You're translating. What would the word for that be in Swedish?
Substantive. It's very weird.
Substantive?
Yeah,
I thought that's what I would want to order at a restaurant on a cold day.
Yeah, substantive, verb, and adjective. Like the other two are the same.
What the fuck? They just
verb and
were like
adjective. Yeah.
noun.
Also, like,
that doesn't make any sense.
From noun to like a 3-syllable word. Okay, Sweden.
Yeah, no. It's
Getting a little.
I do like
getting a
the.
little.
I do like that
Full of yourself.
the presumption is English came first. They're like, English had a perfectly good word. Why did Sweden go and fuck that one up?
I feel like neither substantive, adjective, verb. None of them sounds very
Oh.
Swedish or English. It sounds Latin or Greek or I don't. I fuck do I know. But
I hadn't really made the connection until you said adjective, and then I was like, oh, it's the same.
yeah.
Yeah, I see the root of it now.
Oh yeah.
I know
well,
Swedish now. I did it. Me.
You did it. You cracked the code. You cracked the code for Sweden.
Well, you know who hasn't cracked a code yet? Ellie has said that she has ideas about what she thinks is going on or what should happen.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like, man, we got a lot of ground to cover. So y'all want to play some Vincent?
Yeah.
Mais oui. I want to
Mais
play some.
oui.
I want to play some Vincent.
I like how Ellie just goes, oui.
Je what?
Je t'aime and oui, how I do.
Amazing. Well, let's play Blood Tide. Dun dun. Well, when last we saw our heroes, you all had interviewed Captain Rayner to find out a little bit more about his crew and what's been going on with the murders in town that have all been taking place at the time of the full moon. And as more and more of his crew members die, he has called you all out here 2 nights prior to the next full moon to try to figure out if you can, save a life, perhaps, and put an end to this horrible torture. But you also ended up meeting Stuart Rott, a former deckhand, part of the crew, who has gone a bit mad. And you watched in horror as his eyes were pecked out by an armada of seagulls who fell upon him at the beach and attacked you all as well. And running from the horrifying visual smorgasbord for the eyes, you guys ran away into town and found yourselves seeking refuge in the local church of Saint Aya. So, do you guys have any questions or anything before we get into it?
Nope.
No.
That corresponds with the notes that I've been taking.
All looks good to me. Good job, Anne.
I did it. Thanks for coming, guys. No. All right, so you push forward into this small church. It is old. It is exactly what you'd expect in this small sort of vacation town in the southwest of England. Inside, you see maybe 10 rows of pews and a sort of larger woman, very matronly, rosy-cheeked, approaches you, and she's wearing the vestments of a nun. And she says, "My goodness, loves, I heard a gunshot down by the beach. Are you all right?"
Of course. I didn't even know there was a gunshot. And I look at Irina.
Irina looks back at Vanessa and is like, I shot my gun twice.
No, but we tried to leave the scene. They don't want us.
You have a gun.
Oh, sorry. I'm so dumb.
But then Vanessa can't lie to a fucking other clergyman. Vanessa says,
I thought you, Sydney, had forgotten I had shot a gun. You played it so well, so
I did it in my accent.
Yeah, you played it so well.
I'm so in character.
I don't know many women who travel around with firearms, and you see she's sort of taking a step back from you to get the measure of
You didn't hear her say that. That was Ellie saying that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Okay, so Vanessa, you look at me. I didn't even. So Vanessa's bluffing.
Vanessa's bluffing, but then I think also Vanessa's like, oh, we did hear a gun. Oh, yes, there was a gun. Irina, this is my friend Irina.
Sister, I am Mother Amelia. It is so lovely to have you here at St. Ayas. Can I help you? You look. And she sort of takes you in, Vanessa, and she notes that you are a bit out of sorts. And she says, please, come back to the quarters. I have a first aid kit. I can look after you.
Mother Amelia, thank you. My name is Vanessa Angel. Thank you so much. And she's still carrying her shoes. She's barefoot. She does look out of sorts. She looks kind of her hair, like her habits all like out of place and askew because she was just attacked by the seagulls trying to help him.
Yeah.
So I think she kind of looks at Irina and gives the eyes for like, let's go to the back of the church.
Irina is very uncomfortable in the church and also surrounded by nuns again, so she's just being clearly very unhelpful to poor Vanessa and just follows the mother.
The two of you step back through this very narrow hall. You see all sorts of like places for votive candles, and it's warm here, but it's also just very small. And for you, Irina, there's this sense of having to fit yourself into the memory of a life you have run from for so long. And similarly for you, Vanessa, there's a sense of you having been out on your own for so long, and yet finding yourself in this, too small place with this nosy nun of a woman. And Mother Amelia takes you back into some private quarters of hers, and you see a very humble desk, a bed in the back corner with a small window that looks out on a very quaint little yard. You can even see flowers outside the window. Bees are like buzzing outside. It's a small suite, but a little bit you notice isolated life in there. And you also notice that behind her desk there's some sort of large chest. You assume that there, she might have some belongings or something, but that is something that you see there. And she says, so you were down there where the gunshots came from, and what did you see?
Actually, Mother Amelia, we're here because, we were hoping to talk to someone. You, I suppose. We were trying to help someone. I am on a sort of mission, not so much as a missionary for my own church and faith, but more of a...
Not a missionary.
Not a mission, just a mission, period. There was a man, Stuart Roth. Do you know this man?
Yes, a poor soul. Unfortunately, he's seemed to be quite addled these days. He came back from his tour with the lads on the ship. You've been down by the lovesick siren, I suppose, and Captain Rayner, he runs the place, was his captain, and that dear man has really done all he can for his nieces, treats them like daughters, honestly, but yes, he's sort of cast the man off as he went a bit off his rocker.
What do you mean, off his rocker?
Been speaking in fits and starts. I've taken some food down to him from time to time, made sure he's not left with nothing. Of course, we must look after the poor, but he really stopped making sense, kept talking about the sea and changes, and started becoming a bit aggressive with the captain, and eventually he was no longer welcome there. He used to bus tables there and work in the back, but no longer.
Speaking of changes, I heard that the town has been going through changes itself, yes? The townspeople have been talking about shortages of fishing and changes to the beach.
Yes, I'm afraid it's been all very strange. You see, when I heard that shot, I thought, blimey, I thought maybe someone else had been killed, but every other time, one of these poor souls had been found down by the beach, murdered. We never heard a gun, so that seemed different and new, but yes, I'm afraid there are, Mr. Killarney has been seeing many people at confession recently to discuss their fears and their guilts, I suppose. But I honestly don't know much about it. I fear for those men, but that's about it. Did you see Mr. Rott down there?
The man you're describing, it sounds like it was him we might have seen. There was a lot of people down there. There was a lot of commotion.
Oh Lord, did he have a gun? Oh,
I don't think he had a gun, no.
It seemed to be that he was being attacked, though, by seagulls, of all things. It seemed like nature was turning against him.
sometimes it can seem like that. We've had all of these sea lions and seals lining the beach every time we've got a low tide. It's just like they're waiting there. I heard someone's child almost got dragged off. Oh, it was awful, an awful thing.
Mother Amelia, my faith is well versed, but I am not familiar with, well, seaside churches and the faith that one puts in the sea itself. Is there anything that you could think of that is a connection to what is going on with the people? A loss of faith or a lack of faith or mistreatment of the gods who are now seeking wrath of sorts?
Well, every sailor's a bit superstitious, they say, but Captain Rayner is a good man, and he brings those girls to church every single week. We see them in the pews together. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen those girls alone. A minute in town, it's either the captain or his mate there, Igor Ripley, traveling with him at all times. But of course, then there's her sister, and she never comes. After she went off and married that Patrick, the family doesn't do well, so to speak.
Wait, Captain
Just for
Rayner's sister?
clarification, was it the sister who left the nieces? The same sister?
No, the youngest of the ladies. You see, the look at me gossiping. This is a bit silly, I suppose, but I don't have much to do. So the youngest of the girls, she sort of fancied Mr. Patrick. They were about the same age, and they sort of took up together, but the captain was never really fond of that relationship. And so then when Patrick asked if he could have her hand in marriage, well, he wasn't about to let his only sister's child run off with a former cabin boy. But of course, boys will be boys, and they were in love, and then all he asked was that they get married in the church, but she didn't want to come and get married in the church, and Patrick didn't seem to want to force her, and so there was a bloody row down by the ocean side where they wanted to have the wedding out on the beach. And the girls, they were sore that Sunday. They came in crying and sadder than I'd ever seen them, but he wouldn't let them go. He made them come here to the service instead.
I am. Apologies. It's been a long day. The just for clarification, there are the five nieces to Captain Rayner, and they are the daughters to the sister, who is the love interest of Patrick, or who's the nieces?
Could you draw us a little family tree?
Yeah, she says, "Of course I will." And she pulls out a little pen and paper, and she says, "Captain Rayner had a sister. The sister, I hear, had daughters. Sister died. And so when he came back from sea suddenly, he had all of these women to look after in his life.
Right.
The youngest of these nieces took up with Patrick. And that sort of separated the sisters, and they've never quite been the same for it, I'm afraid."
So the youngest sister refused to come here, is what you're saying.
So there
She
are
did not want to get married at the church.
4 nieces
Not
who
5.
stay with Patrick, or
Yes.
stay with Captain Rayner, and 1 niece is with Patrick, and it's separated the family.
Yes.
Okie dokie, the plot thickens.
The
Why
plot
are you
thickens.
so interested in all of this, though? Curious.
We have a friend who we're friends with Captain Rayner. We have a common friend, so we came to visit him because we know that he's been having some issues lately. You see, we come from London.
Oh, a big fancy Londoner out here in our parish church. My goodness. Well, can I get you anything? And she goes to the side and collects up her first aid sort of kit and begins sort of administering services to the scratches on your face where the gull had gotten at you, and starts sort of setting you to rights and continuing a bit of small talk about, well, we haven't had many people in town, not as many as a normal summer for us, but I guess word's gotten up as far as London that things aren't what they normally are. But yes, Muriel did run off with that ungrateful cabin boy. She could have lived with her sisters and found a proper match. Captain Rayner does well enough for himself, but now she's living in that awful shack down by the beach in Crows Street. Sad, really, with the baby and everything.
There's a baby.
Well, I guess not so much a baby anymore. A young girl, about 3. Why don't you guys go ahead and roll an observation check, as she's getting sort of lost in talking with you all, just to kind of get a vibe check on her.
Yep.
Vibe check.
Roll for vibes.
1 success.
All right.
One success as well.
1 success. So both of you sort of notice that as you are more and more interested in the daughters and in what's going on there, she has cast a few glances to the large chest that's kind of sitting next to her desk.
No, I was like, that chest, as soon as she leaves, I kind of want to do a vigilance and be like, what's in the chest? But
Sure. All right. Well, how are you planning on getting her to leave you in her bedroom?
That's true.
She did ask if we wanted anything, if she could get us anything. And we could tell her, you go to the market and get us the biggest turkey you can find. And I press 10 pence into her palm.
Like Christmas morning. No.
What day is it? What day is it? Yeah, I don't say
Okay. So, but I'm assuming you ask her if you could get some kind of refreshment.
that. Actually, do
a
you have any tea? Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say strawberry daiquiri, but tea sounds good too.
Oh,
Tea
of
sounds.
course.
No, hold. Can you make a strawberry daiquiri?
I'm afraid we don't have spirits here. Just
Oh,
the
I
spirit of the good Lord.
I didn't know that strawberry daiquiri was alcohol. Sorry, Irina.
So harsh, Irina.
I forgot that churches, they tend to be quite boring in that way. But I do know that you carry red wine.
Well, of course, but that's for communion.
Mm.
Did you want to take the sacrament, Miss Irina?
Yes, please.
Sorry, I guess I knew your name randomly.
No, I
We'll
told
say
you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great.
Actually,
Miss Irina, she knows who I am.
Run.
She knows.
actually, I think it would be quite lovely for the two of us to enjoy a communion, and some chocolate and some other refreshments if you have them. Irina's just trying to get this woman to get
Yeah.
as much shit as possible, but then
Okay,
she's
go ahead and roll. Gosh, what it would be? Is it manipulation?
before I want to do it better because I'm gonna
Yeah.
fail.
Okay, sure.
Irina, as she's remembering where she is and who she is, she's going to suddenly catch herself and become a little bit more like the haughty toddy Londoner that she tried to sell herself as earlier. I believe my friend here is quite shaken from what happened at the beach. It was quite traumatic. So, do you have any perhaps nicer pillows or a warmer blanket, perhaps? Or how do you feel, Vanessa? You look very tired.
Actually, I was going to ask if you did have a blanket or a tea. I'm a little cold. We were walking in the water.
See, she is clearly hysteric.
Okay, go ahead and roll a manipulation check.
I won't be part of your lies.
2 successes. Well,
Oh, okay. So she sort of like is squinting at Irina, but because the two of you are traveling together, because Irina seems so confident and concerned about her friend, she sort of comes back from sort of squinting at you and taking the measure of you, and it's like, well, of course, I'll be just a moment. Don't you worry. I'll be right back. And she is going to sweep out of the room, leaving the two of you
nice.
alone.
Irina, why are you making me lie? I can tell you changed your voice.
I'm not making you lie. You don't have to say anything. You just have to be quiet, and I can lie for both of us. And she winks at Vanessa.
Well,
And-
I mean, God knows you're a better liar. And she points up to God.
Oh, God.
That is a joke to God. That was just a small joke, please, God. God.
Irina walks over to the chest.
Irina, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna take a little look.
Go ahead and roll a vigilance for me.
Both of us, or
I'm gonna say why doesn't just
Okay.
Irina, because she's getting up close to it.
All right, that was a fail. So, are you sure?
I guess I'm not sure. Go ahead. Roll.
I'll do my
Yeah.
best. I don't have great vigilance, but finally, 1 success on my last dice that I rolled.
So you sort of move a little closer, we'll say, after Irina is left sort of scratching her head, looking down at this, and you smell something. It smells salty. It smells salty, and as you take in the chest, you notice that it's sustained, like there are places where it's extra smooth or even warped, like it sustained some kind of water damage. But you also notice that this chest is locked. As you like reach down to try to open it, Irina, you find that it's locked.
I don't have any lockpicks. That's not my character.
Well, I mean, you could utilize a flashback. One of you could, to say that you packed and prepared for just this.
All right,
occasion.
of course.
The
course.
flashback mechanic that I didn't immediately forget about, even though Anne said it right before we started recording. But of course.
I will. I think it would make sense for. But I honestly, though, it is since you brought it up, Vanessa, the lockpick. I think you should do it.
I don't think I have that. I don't think it makes any sense. Unless it's like I have a bobby pin holding my habit on my head. I don't think I have a lockpick.
Ellie, I thought you wanted to play in this game. I feel like we keep being like, all right, Irina, it's your turn to shine. You're like, no, I want no part of this.
Ellie's like, I'd love to be, I don't want to be a GM. Let me be a player. But also, I just want to watch Anne and Sydney roleplay for an entire episode.
Actually, you know what? Now when I actually look at my character sheet, I do have lockpicks. But
shut up! Of course you
save
do.
your flashback.
I will save I will use my lockpicks. And do you think he'll mind? And she points to God, and as she takes out a lockpick from her hair, and her hair falls back in a very like L'Oreal commercial way.
Amazing.
You're asking Vanessa?
Yeah.
No, I do not think that God truly spends their time watching us every second, so just make it fast.
Let's go ahead and get a little bit of a stealth-a-rooney check.
Okay. Oh boy. Stealth. It's a good one. I have a lot of stealth. No, I don't. Never mind. God damn it.
Well, if you can make the case for agility, I'll give you that.
Fuck it. I actually did roll a 1, so.
Okay. All right. You reach forward and carefully, like, you're looking over your shoulder, afraid that any moment she could come, but you lean down in front of this chest, and the chest is pretty big. Like, it's kind of like a Foot Locker sort of sized chest. And you lean down next to it and you listen carefully for the right sound, that click, as you push the pins in that a key would normally push aside. And you hear the lock snap into place.
Have you guys played Skyrim?
Oh, yeah. After 50 broken lockpicks, when you finally get it.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny because it's always like...
Yeah.
Jank!
Yeah.
Jank!
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why?
But it's also the most satisfying part of that great game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do it, yeah. And so, yeah, I'll put on my gloves before I open it because she's worried about the stench.
So you push the lid of this chest open, and inside you see beautiful seal skins. You see grays mottled with black, and each one of these, as you sort of like begin folding them back,
oh my God.
Is completely...
I know what they are. I know what they are.
Sydney knows. She solved it.
Yeah, they're all completely like intact. Like they're not cut the way they would be if you were going to turn them into something. And y'all have seen seal skins before. I mean, they have been made for used for millennia to make waterproof jackets and boots, and seal fur was often on coats of this period. But these are just some of the most beautiful seal skins and strangely intact that you've ever seen.
Fuck.
Irina.
I mean, Ellie, do you recognize the folklore? I don't want to metagame, but do you know what it is?
Vanessa might know, so Irina
No, I don't know.
You guys did research before you came out here, and
yeah,
you
that's
even
true.
said the name of what these things are.
Remember Vanessa...
Selkies? Did I say Selkies?
One of you did.
I said Oh, shit. It is Selkies.
It's Selkies. They wear the seal skins and go... Okay, so, all right. So let's say we did the research and we both have a moment of being like, we read about this. Like, maybe we don't know exactly what it is, but we're like, we read about a folklore where you don the skin of a seal and you become it. And you are only human when you remove your skin.
Yeah.
But you are also not human. You are a Selkie. And it's like, all they want to do is go back into the water. And it's evil. It's like a trick to steal their skins. So they're locked in a trunk. So they're being held on land, and I'm guessing it's the 5 nieces.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, like, they're usually beautiful women, and what the fuck is this Rainier dude doing with these women? Like, why?
Could there have been, have they captured them? How?
I don't understand. If they're truly his nieces, then his sister gave birth to Selkies. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Before they get into, Irina is a professional enough, so she's gonna close the trunk quickly before the nun comes back, just to make sure that they don't get caught off guard.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll a stealth check for me, just to set everything to rights.
Yeah.
So you can both do that together.
That's 0 success. So Irina fucks it up, but if
1 for me.
Nice.
So basically, we'll interpret this as, Irina, you suddenly hear the of the steps coming down the hallway, and you two look at each other, and Vanessa, you are quick enough to like assume the position in your chair and begin like rubbing your temples and making like a show of, you know, basically being distractingly under duress. And you manage to close, Irina, close the chest. But of course it does remain unlocked, but you step away just in time for her to come back inside. She has a full tray of tea, and she's managed to get a few, she places it down. This is my answer to fika, by the way.
Nice.
She's put together what's called a cream tea, which is very well known in England, especially in Cornwall, where it's these beautiful gosh, what are they called?
Biscuits?
Like biscuits, basically, that have clotted cream and then strawberry jam
This
preserves.
is really good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It's not a crumpet, is it?
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of that, but basically, yeah. You spread the preserves and the cream on them, and you have them with tea. And a lot of times, people don't, you know, sweeten their tea because the clotted cream and the strawberries usually enough. But yeah, she says, well, I know you're in from out of town, so I tried to put together something for you. It's not the vacation you would have liked, being attacked by gulls down there by the seaside, but at least there's this. And she sort of places it next to you, and she says, so how long do you plan to be here visiting Mr. Rayner?
Not too long, unfortunately. I would love to see more of the town, but we must be getting back to London.
Yeah, and actually, despite this being very nice, we actually have to get going soon. And she feels slightly bad we'll have a biscuit.
I would love one. They look really good.
They look really good. You should have one. You look still very sick.
I will take one. I probably need it.
You probably need it, yes.
So the two of you sit there, drinking your tea and eating your biscuits, as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And are you like making a play of like, and now I'm totally fine, and you should believe me, or
No, I think she's just like, we have taken up enough of your time, and you are very generous. I would like to come back to the church when I am feeling a bit better, and perhaps when the father is here, I would love to talk to him about your sanctuary, and perhaps we could help each other, and I could spread word in London of your church.
well, of course. I mean, there are churches in London, of course, but yes, you're welcome back. Of course, the good Lord opens their doors for all who need him. So, of course, return at your ease.
Indeed.
And have a lovely day, ladies.
And as they leave the church, for a second, Irina looks back, and it's as if she's seeing something, and then she just shrugs, and as if she has been very tense in there the entire time.
We need to go to Karen Crow Street. She said one of the nieces, the youngest, who married Patrick, they live there, and I have a feeling perhaps she does not see eye to eye with the rest of the family, and perhaps can be most truthful with us.
So, Vanessa, would you know if they know that they are Selkies? Is that like, are they aware of this?
That I'm not sure of. I'm almost positive they are because they have, if I remember correctly, an innate need to go back to the sea. They pine for it. It can be very painful for them and emotionally painful.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be on land, truly like a fish out of water.
Indeed. Yes, we should hurry there. And I think we should hurry over to the shack.
Clack, 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 clack,
All
clack.
right.
That's us running.
So, as you all are sort of rushing down these cobblestone streets and you ask around, and people keep pointing you further and further along this road into sort of a dingy part of town. And as you move in this direction, the smell of like laundry and dinner being made, it's the end of the day at this point, dusk, if you will. And you are, by the time you get to Cairn Crow Street, where it intersects with the beach there, it is growing darker. The sun has set. Now, the houses in this part of town are smaller. There's laundry hanging across the road from one side to the other. Children scamper about as parents call them inside for dinner. And at the end of the street, you see a female form wrapped in a, I guess like a knit wrap, and a dark green dress with long dark hair. And her back is to you, and she's just standing at the edge of the street looking out towards the ocean. You can hear from here just the gentle, rhythmic lapping of the waves at the seashore.
Wait, can she see us?
She has her back to you.
Oh, she's her back.
Just standing looking out at the sea.
Irina, that could be Muriel.
You should go talk to her. You're much more approachable.
Really? I think you are more approachable. I think I come off as very difficult to talk to, and
That's true.
sometimes I get... What did you say?
I was agreeing with you. You do, but the problem isn't necessarily that. It's that you are a nun. Actually, now that I think about it,
The problem is I am a nun?
If
Come on, Irina. You are a nun.
I've completely forgotten Irina's personality. It's like currently she's like a
I
fucking.
don't know who I am anymore.
Apparently she's a fucking elephant. Vanessa, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I meant more like you're a nun, and she seemed to not want to go to church. So I'm wondering if perhaps that will dissuade her from talking to you, and so perhaps maybe I should talk to her. Even though you are very approachable, we'll work on your personality some other time. And
Okay, and we will work on how mean you are some other time.
listen, I know you like it. And she walks over to the Selkie.
Wait.
Wait.
She's behind her. She like walks over further back.
The woman standing there sort of rubbing her shoulders, and she turns as the last light disappears below the waves, and she sees you right as you're like walking up to her, and you notice she has the same beautiful, just huge irises and these dark brown eyes, like deep pools, the same as her sister's. And she says, "I'm sorry, can I help you?"
Are you Mariel?
Who wants to know?
My name is Irina. I am from the Rose House in London. We are here to investigate certain things. There's been a couple of murders, and we just have a couple of questions. This is my very good friend, Vanessa.
I don't know anything about those deaths. I'm sorry. I really should. You probably want to talk to my husband, Patrick. And she begins like moving towards the house, quickly. And she says, "I'm sorry. Who sent you?"
Muriel, wait. No one sent us. We are not trying to hurt you. In fact, we just want to help you. You and your sisters.
Did my uncle send you? That's
Absolutely.
rich coming from him.
Absolutely not. In fact, we saw your uncle. We talked to him. And I don't think he is telling us the truth. That is why we came to you.
I believe we might have information that can give you some peace. And she puts a hand on her shoulder.
Go ahead and make me a manipulation check.
Both of
Who?
us?
Oh, both of us?
And because you have all this information, you've used it pretty well. Go ahead and add an advantage to it. So add 2 dice.
Woo!
Dude. Alright.
Don't
Actually-
mind if I freaking do.
Actually, that's still pretty shit. Yeah, that's a fail. God damn it. Irina
I
is just
also failed because I'm not very manipulative. I could do. No.
I
doesn't
guess we
make
can
any
push.
sense.
Can I push and take a condition? Can I push the roll?
Yeah, you can. We almost never do on
no.
this show, but
Yeah.
that is a mechanic in this game.
Go
Go ahead and take a mental condition. Re-roll.
Fucking still 0 successes. God damn it.
All right. Do you want me to push?
Go for it.
All
See what
right, I'll
happens.
push.
Fuck around and find out.
And when you push, you get to re-roll, right? Everything.
You re-roll everything.
Okay. Plus the bonus.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
So-
angry.
Not a single success, and now I'm also angry.
All right.
Just
Well, how
fucking
many-
talk to
so-
us.
Somebody took. God damn it! Now, some of you took conditions down on the beach, right?
No, I don't think we did actually.
I didn't get hit once. The
I
goals.
thought
The goals.
Vanessa took at least one, but no. All right.
I-
We'll say
well,
that it would have been
We
healed
took
anyways.
we took mental conditions for getting drunk back in
That's true.
No, because I think I don't know if I took. I mean, I'll re-listen, but if I did, I definitely healed at the church.
Okay, yeah. We'll say. I mean, you literally went there, and she said she attended you.
Yeah.
So we'll say that it's all clear. You both take 1 mental condition now. So that's, remember, remove 1 die from every pool from here on out. And she sort of is in. She's very much interested in what you have to say. Again, you've said all the right things, but she says, "Why don't you come inside?" And she pushes open this, very small door, this crooked, teeny tiny little house. And as she opens it, a tiny girl with ringlets of brown, dusting her shoulder tops, is sitting on the floor there, stacking like blocks on the ground. And there's a red-headed gentleman with freckles, very well built, is sitting there sort of building with her, like taking a knee next to her and like helping her build. And he in a rush gets to his feet and then says, "I'm sorry, I didn't know we had visitors."
You must be Patrick.
Who's asking?
I am. My name is Vanessa Unkel.
Mother Amelia didn't send them, right? I've told them to stop sending
No,
people here.
I am not with the church. In fact, I am not from here. We live in London. We are only here visiting.
And Muriel sort of motions for you all to enter, and she sort of stands there taking you in with this otherworldly sort of perceptive stare. And she says, "They said they're from Rose House." Rose House? Who's that when it's at home? I'm sorry. I'm confused. What is it exactly that myself or my wife can do for you?
Apologies for the riddling way of talking, but we are here on a sort of mission. Captain Rainier has a common friend with us, and our friend asked us to check in on Captain Rainier. She said that things were not going well in the town, which appears to be true, no?
Patrick looks nervous when you start talking about the way things are going in town in this ominous sort of way. And Muriel, at the mention of Captain Raynor, her blood seems to boil again, and she says, "He's a thief, and he's shown no remorse, Patrick. Can you believe this? Ugh, maybe he deserves what he gets." And he says, "Oh, come on, love, you don't mean it." And she says, "How can you defend him? If it had been up to him, we never would have been married. And I swear if you die because of his folly, I'll kill him myself. And she sweeps down and picks up the child who has been startled by her sort of extreme reaction. And she begins sort of clucking to her. And she says, "Now, Morwina, dear, Mommy didn't mean it. Mother loves you. Calm down." And she sort of bounces her there on her hip.
So, I would not like to assume anything, but I have experience with helping, I believe, people in your situation. I don't want to assume that you are in a certain situation at all, of course, and if you aren't, then you can let me know and we'll leave, and there's nothing, we will pretend that this never happened. But if me or Sister Vanessa could help you, perhaps you would like to return to the sea?
Go ahead and roll an observation as you're sort of stammering in fits
Yeah.
and starts trying to
Yeah.
get them to say it first.
Yeah.
It's like, who talks first?
Yeah.
Do you talk first? Do I talk first? Go
Yeah.
ahead and roll an observation.
And
let's say one of you can roll observation, one of you can roll persuasion, because you both made an effort at this.
how about you? What's your strongest one, Vanessa?
Definitely. What is my What's persuasion?
That's manipulation, I think.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I meant manipulation. Sorry.
observation is better for me.
All right, I'll do manipulation. Can't
And
believe-
-1 for my condition, but I still got 1 success.
Nice.
I got actually
So-
1 success too, despite the stammering.
As Irina says, "I don't know if you're involved in this," get this immense wave of guilt that drags the corners of his mouth down. And you certainly realize that there's more to this story, but what you do know is he genuinely seems to love her and to love this child. With your persuasion, Muriel steps forward. Her husband, the frown shadowing his mouth, he takes in a deep breath as if to straighten himself and resolve to respond, but instead a heaving sigh and a sob come out of his mouth, and his shoulders slope and rock with just the release of this feeling that somebody who understands them and what they are going through is finally here. And Muriel steps forward with a baby on one hip, and her arm reaches out and she touches his face. And in this moment, you're both struck just by the simplicity of their lives and the sadness of their situation, but just at the heart of it, this love that connects these two people. And she says, "If not now, my love, then when? After she's claimed you too? Please, we have to tell them. And if you cannot, then I will. I am to assume that you understand the truth of what I am, what we are." And she motions to the child.
Yes. If our understanding is that you are from the sea and you are currently unable to go back because your form is being held captive against you.
What you say is true.
What happens if you go back to sea between the two of you?
I would let her go. I love her. I would want her here forever. But what happened? It's not up to me. We've made the life that we can, but my daughter, my wife, they deserve so much more than what I can give. They deserve something vast like the sea. And Muriel says, "You see, his ship was caught on a reef in a storm. My sisters and I, we saw it happen, and It's not as if we hadn't seen a shipwreck before. We had, but as we would go and sit on the beach as seagulls, we would see these men helping each other cut down trees and repair their mast and search in vain for the right kind of shellfish to eat. And we felt sorry for them. I suppose there are those of my people who are tricksome, but we roam. We are, I suppose, a gentler sort. We took pity on them. We began leaving them offerings of shellfish or other things on the beach in the mornings, and then she stops and Patrick says, well, we didn't know where these things were coming from. No sailor's going to look a gift from the sea and not take it. So we were grateful, and the captain was curious as to where these things were coming from, so eventually he had us set watches, and that's when we saw them in the silvery moonlight. Beautiful women. They were sweet to each other and kind to leave us what they did. They were enraptured by their beauty. Even I, as a boy, just a young cabin boy, I could see not just their beauty. I was perhaps too young to have those sorts of feelings, but I could see how sweet they were, how nurturing. And Muriel says, we were able to help them make repairs to the ship, and eventually they said hello, and we were careful always to hide the skins. They didn't know what we were, just simply that we appeared there. They were happy with that for a time. We would sing to them, and they would tell us of their lives back here, and Patrick was no more than 13 at the time. Perhaps he was more susceptible to our qualities than he believes. And he says, oh, stop it, Muriel. You're embarrassing me. She says, but it was Patrick who stumbled upon us one night, sliding out of our grey-spotted silver skins. And he found us on the beach there. We didn't know he'd seen us, and of course he, finally eager for his captain's approval, told him, and well, Patrick says, that was when he decided he couldn't be without them, even if we were to repair the entire ship and go our way. He didn't want to leave them behind. So he hatched a plot to invite them to a final dinner here, a final revel, if you will. And then, when they were there, and all the ladies were being given the last of our rum rations that had survived the storms, the captain sent me down the beach to get the skins. And I didn't know the kind of crime I was committing at the time. But I did as I was told. I was a young boy, and I would have done anything. Any of us would have done anything for Captain Raynor. He seemed a good man. And he said that we would protect them, that we couldn't leave them out here, that what if something were to happen to them, that we should take care of them. So I took the skins and I went with Igor, and we rowed them back out to the ship to lock them up in a chest. And then the ladies found we found we couldn't return to the sea. We were confused. It was our forever home. And they put us on the ship and told us that they would help us. And we kept asking for our skins. We kept begging to go home. But no one would answer us. So when we returned, the captain told everyone we were his nieces, treated us like daughters, of course. But there's this pit in each one of us that hungers for home and can never have it. So I'm afraid, unless you know where our skins can be found, We have tried everything. And Patrick says, I tried. I realized what I'd done. I read stories when I got home. I'd never known such guilt. And I came to them and I apologized. And Eager, well, he caught me. And that was the first bit of a row I ever had with the captain. He said I couldn't work there anymore. That was when all of the men learned that if they were to cross him, if anybody was ever to admit what we had done or speak about it, that it would not be allowed.
So, is it your kin that is committing these murders then?
When my sisters and I first saw the men, there was one of us who warned us that this was bad business. My Eilish, my oldest sister, and she never came on sand. She never, ever approved of what we did, and so she was left behind. I am not sure of it, but the signs are all there. She is here for revenge, and she mourns the loss of her pod more than anything. Enough to commit murder, I'm sure.
Suppose we can retrieve your skin. Would you return and leave your child behind?
Irina, that is a decision that she only herself can make. What we are here to do is to restore the order.
I just want her to know the consequences. I know what it's like to be abandoned as a child.
I wouldn't do that, no. But I think one of the reasons I have but the slightest bit of pity for Uncle Rainer is because I did the same to keep the one I love close to me. And she gets up and she disappears into the bedroom and comes back out with a small chest.
Oh.
And she opens it, and inside you see a tiny gray silver sealskin that has never known the touch of the ocean.
Oh my god, heartbreaking.
And that is where we will end today's episode.
Oh, such a somber note. Oh.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's good. It's so good. It's so good.
Please vote for us on Gamehers.
Yes.
Yeah. If you like to cry,